Jake Paul, Joshua.
Oh, Jesus. That's a fucking bad idea. That's a bad idea. But let me tell you what. A lot of people watch that one.
Will you watch it?
Sure. You know what everybody's tuning in for on that one. Then I think everybody's going to get what they've finally been waiting for.
I'm a little fucked up, but will you take care of me?
The once troublesome star finally met his limits. For years, people speculate about what would happen when a flashy YouTube experiment ran headfirst into a true heavyweight force. On December 19th, the brutal answer arrived. This wasn't merely a defeat, it was a bone-shattering wake-up call that left Jake Paul hospitalized with his jaw wired shut.
Day after the fight, got out of surgery a few hours ago. They put a plate in my jaw, wired it up. Hurts to talk, so I'm gonna keep it short. Took the L.
It's no longer about the hype, the trash talk, or the pay-per-view numbers. It's about a brutal lesson in the science of the knockout. And now UFC President Dana White is finally breaking his silence, with a reaction that's sending shockwaves through the entire combat sports world.
A burnt bridge with my brother, unfixable.
I don't hate your brother. You guys need to fight guys your fucking same size. When you fought Floyd, you are massive. He did hit you with a fucking bomb, and you fucking ate it. He's gonna fight Gervonta Davis.
Who do you got?
Gervonta, I think, hits way harder than Floyd, but he's too small. Your brother's gonna be able to get inside on him, put his weight on him, tie him up.
I hear your critique on fighting guys the same size as you. Is that why you guys wouldn't let me fight Conor?
Yeah, you're fucking huge. Conor weighs 145 pounds, 155 pounds.
Yeah, but he says he could beat.
The sixth round was meant to be Jake Paul's proving ground, but instead it marked the official death of his bravado. At the 131 mark, Anthony Joshua delivered a right hand so clean and devastating that it didn't just stop the fight, it dismantled Paul's face. After evading the inevitable for 5 rounds and surviving 4 earlier knockdowns, Jake finally ran into a wall he couldn't talk his way past. As he crumpled to the canvas, the fiery confidence that once defined his career gave way to the harsh reality of a double mandibular fracture. This wasn't just a loss. He was physically broken by a man who treated the bout like a casual sparring session until he decided it was time to end it.
Or Jake would have moved around the ring at 100 miles an hour. There's 2 things I would have done. Tried to shut Jake down at 100 miles an hour, or I would have gone on the back foot. So Jake decided to move around the ring, and I decided to put the pressure on. What I could have done better is a lot of things. 100%. In the fight game, you've seen the amazing fighters that have graced us over the last 100 years. And the expectations that we put on ourselves are immense, but I tried my best. Jake done well while it lasted, but if you remember what I said in the interview with Cameron is, fighting's not just physical, it's psychological. And when you understand the psychological warfare, I did say to you is that, Jake, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna see a time when I'm gonna take your soul and you're either gonna give up or you're gonna get knocked out. And unless you have that instinct, you just will never be a good fighter. So I wish that I could have knocked him out at the start. But as we saw tonight, Jake has spirit. He has some heart. He tried his best. And I take my hat off to him because, number one, a lot of fighters haven't got in the ring with me and Jake did. And secondly, even when he got knocked down, he kept on trying to get up, and I take my hat off to him. So America, I think you have someone who could potentially, if he still has the heart for it, come back again, dust the dirt off his shoulder, and come again and maybe sell out this center sometime in 2026, maybe against a Gervonta Davis, a Ryan Garcia.
The hospital aftermath has been nothing short of a nightmare for the Paul camp. Surgeons at Miami University Hospital worked around the clock to reconstruct his jaw, ultimately placing 2 titanium plates on each side of his face to stabilize the shattered bone. The damage was so severe that several teeth had to be removed, leaving Jake confined to a strictly liquid diet for the foreseeable future. X-ray images circulating online reveal a jaw snapped clean and half a grim reminder of a fight many experts warn should never have been sanctioned. Despite the pain, Jake's attempt at humor, joking about wanting Canelo in 10 days. Feels less like toughness and more like a desperate bid to stay relevant.
Jake
I have no.
Jake
I
Paul's-
have love for Jake too. I don't.
Wait,
have,
yo.
I don't know
Jake
when a
Paul's
fight's happening.
fights
I really
are all
don't.
the same. He fights older people that are smaller. It's all the same shit.
Am I not remembering correctly? Didn't Jake ask if you could make a amends between them?
I don't think it's ready for that yet.
Well, it's not that.
UFC CEO Dana White made no effort to hide his "I told you so" reaction when the news broke. For years, he's been the loudest critic of the crossover boxing era, dismissing it as a clown show, and this result felt like total vindication. He didn't sugarcoat it, saying there are levels to combat sports that no amount of hype, marketing, or YouTube fame can bridge. White had even joked before that people were tuning in just to see Jake finally get taken out. Watching the influencer turned boxer head into major, surgery only reinforced his view that the matchup was a terrible idea from the start. To Dana, this wasn't a tragedy. It was the inevitable result of someone stepping into a game they were never meant to play.
Oh, God. I think the gig is up. I'm just tired of Jake Paul as a boxer. I think he's done a fantastic job. He dressed up like Hulk Hogan. I just don't know how many more times Netflix is going to go to bat for him. But I think they will one more time because, you know, the axiom is basically if you draw money, you're going to be getting chance after chance until you're not drawing money. And then you'll still get a couple more chances after that because you did draw money. And that's kind of where he's at right now. You know, he's going to draw with Tyson. He's going to draw on this one. And so he's going to get a couple of more chances, you know, with Netflix. And they'll pay that, you know, good for him. They'll pay that money. But, man, these are, you know, this was just a bad fight. And made boxing look bad. Made boxing look bad in many ways. You know, especially it just was a circus. And the guy, you know, going for takedowns and the ref's not doing anything. I thought the ref was terrible. Thought Joshua, you know, was not good. Hurt himself, and then he even admitted it. And Jake was just out there not trying to win a boxing match. He was trying to survive and get the moral victory so he can go out there and be, you know, oh, you know, I lasted 6 rounds with Anthony Joshua. And he survived 6 rounds with him.
The size difference between the two men on fight night was almost uncomfortable to witness. Joshua entered the ring at a hulking 243 pounds of lean muscle, looking every bit the two-time unified champion, while Paul appeared noticeably smaller at 216 pounds. Analysts are now labeling the bout a real-life Tom and Jerry act, with Jake spending most of the fight running and clinching just to stay afloat. The backlash against the Florida State Athletic Commission is reaching a breaking point, with critics like Garrett Davies calling the sanctioning reckless. When a novice is put in the ring with one of the world's most dangerous finishers, the outcome isn't competition, it's liability.
For a while, but told me afterwards that he could see that Jake Paul was being evasive. I spoke to him personally, and he decided just to slowly marinade Jake Paul. Obviously hit him with a huge right hand midway through the 6th round to end the bout. Broke Jake Paul's jaw. He ended up in hospital, kind of rearranged his teeth a little as well, but was very clear afterwards to give great praise to the bravery and courage of Jake Paul that everybody saw. I mean, delusionally optimistic he really is. Jake Paul should go and fight YouTubers and influencers now. I don't think this kind of bout should be sanctioned again. But Joshua, of course, now wants to fight Tyson Fury. He's called him out, and I hope we get that fight in 2026 after both of them have had warm-ups. I understand Joshua will have a warm-up fight in Riyadh late in February 2026. It's all done here. It's over.
Even within the Paul family, the tone has shifted from arrogance to damage control. Logan Paul was seen emotionally defending his brother, insisting Jake had won 4 rounds before the lights went out and praising his toughness for continuing with a broken jaw. But the combat sports world isn't buying the heroism angle. Voices like Daniel Cormier and Carl Froch have been blunt, suggesting Joshua carried Jake into the later rounds to give the Netflix audience their money's worth before ending it. Froch went so far as to label the event unedifying. arguing the spectacle did more to harm boxing's integrity than to elevate Jake's legacy.
Won right through to round 6. I don't know if he's got a moral victory going 6 rounds. Maybe he has. People might give him credit for going 6 rounds. But he got in there and just survived. He just went in there and ran like a chicken from round 1 right through to round 6 when he got splattered. And it's like, it's just, you can't really justify what he's done, because this is supposed to be a professional sanctioned boxing match. And I think it brings the integrity of the sport down when somebody like AJ, who's a 2-time world champion, can't get in there and just completely dismiss somebody like Jake Paul, who I've said for ages can't fight. He's not a professional boxer. It's just AJ following him around, touching him to the shoulder. Round 1 came and went. Round 2 was much of the same, bit slow. I think AJ got caught with an overhand right at one stage, but sometimes when you're out in the rain, you're going to get wet. He was following him around, taking his eye off the ball, probably a bit undermotivated, thinking, what's this guy doing that's in front of me? Jake Paul was just running left to right, ducking low, falling on the floor, throwing a couple of wild swings, and one did get through, but it just bounced off AJ's chin like water off a duck's back. It was nothing. And then the only reason Anthony Joshua got the fight finished, the sad thing is, I think if Jake Paul was fit enough and he had the energy and the engine, which he hasn't got, because he's not a professional athlete. No, he goes in the gym every day and he trains and he's fit and he trains like a pro. That don't make you a professional fighter. What makes you a professional fighter is building yourself up through the ranking system, earning your.
The warnings from peers like Conor McGregor now feel eerily prophetic. Before the opening bell, McGregor called the fight an easy layup for AJ, and later suggested Jake would be permanently changed by the experience. He was proven right. Absorbing a clean shot from a heavyweight champion doesn't leave a simple bruise. It alters how the brain and body function. As Jake lies in a hospital bed, unable to eat solid food and staring down months of rehabilitation, the only question anyone is asking is whether the payday was worth the permanent metal now embedded in his face.
He's caved in. Literally, you can see the x-rays of his jaw online. Jake did not beat the count after absorbing the right hand that broke his jaw, and AJ got the KO. Guys, let me come out and say the story to me coming out of this fight is Jake Paul. This dude is a maniac in the best sense of the word. And I'm not going to try and hear any Jake Paul slander today on the show. Guys, nope. He got in the ring with a former Olympic gold medalist and heavyweight champion of the world who's 37, like he's not like 45 years old. He's still fighting, guys. Like, yeah, Dubois knocked him out. He was in that fight with Dubois. He was a top heavyweight. Yes. Yeah, Usyk beating him a couple times. Usyk, one of the all-time great fighters. And those were competitive fights. Yes. That Anthony Joshua, Jake Paul gave up enormous size, experience, talent, everything. And guys, let me tell you something. If all of us right now, you've been retired how many years? 10 years? Like that, yes. I don't think combined, including you, Malik, we get into the 6th round with Anthony Joshua. If Anthony Joshua is coming to hurt you, which he was, and Jake Paul was tackling his legs. He was trying to use takedowns. He was exhausted. Yes. He was running. Yeah! Are you joking? Right. No kidding. Yes. He's trying not to get killed. Yes. And by the way, I know it was a lot like William Skull and Canelo Alvarez, where Skull was kind of outlanding Canelo upstairs, but there was nothing on the shots. But the fact is, actually, Jake Paul landed more clean punches to the head than Anthony Joshua did before the end of the fight. What he did was amazing. Yes. And guys, he also did something else by taking this fight. What Jake did was retroactively justify fighting a guy like Tank Davis, or even trying to make that fight. Because what Jake is demonstrating here is, okay, everybody, you're accusing me of having to fight an ancient Mike Tyson, or a tiny Tank Davis, or an old MMA fighter. I'm really thinking about how to make a global event.
Social media reaction has been a mix of I told you so and genuine concern for the sport's safety. On Reddit and X, fans acknowledge Jake's heart but insist he's far from world class. The hashtag Paul Joshua hashtag is flooded with clips of the final blow, with many noting the referee likely should have stopped the fight sooner. Even with titanium plates in place, the problem child now faces a crossroads: return to his own weight class as a humbled fighter, or keep chasing these dangerous Goliath matchups until something even worse occurs.
This fight was over. You knew that Anthony Joshua was going to eventually land something that hurt Jake Paul. And you know how you know the boxing world wanted it to be brutal? Because Rosendo was sitting here and he goes, I hope he gets knocked out bad. He didn't want him to get TKO'd. They wanted Paul to get absolutely destroyed. And honestly, that right hand, oh my God, he took all of that right hand. You could see in his face, he was like, okay, now I understand boxing. Now I understand, like, at its worst, what boxing can be. Because he got hit clean by one of the biggest punchers, acclaimed, a lot of accolades, world champion heavyweight, and he went down and didn't get up. And honestly, I was hoping he didn't get up because it was only going to get worse. I thought Francis should have stayed down when Joshua hurt him bad. But a lot of times fighters just don't really want to give up on themselves, and that's why they get hurt worse. But it was exactly what it needed to be tonight for this fight and for this fight. It was fun. It was crazy at times with the wrestling and all the grabbing and the clenching. The referee saying the fans didn't pay for this shit, all the dirty tactics.
The lesson of December 19th is clear. You can't shortcut your way into the heavyweight elite without paying the price. Anthony Joshua didn't just win a fight. He reminded the world that boxing isn't about views or followers. It's about the physics of power. While Jake Paul might be rolling in hundreds of millions from the gate, he's learning that no amount of money can make a liquid diet taste like victory. This wasn't just a knockout. It was the end of a loud, expensive experiment that left its main subject broken in more ways than one. Ultimately, this Miami showdown served as a wake-up call for the entire influencer boxing scene. Fighting retired MMA stars or fellow YouTubers is one thing. Stepping into the ring with a focused, world-class heavyweight is another entirely. Jake Paul's harsh lesson has left him with a face full of metal and a career that demands a serious reality check. Was this the moment the problem child finally grew up? Or just the most expensive jaw-breaking in history? Either way, the recent silence from the Paul camp speaks louder than any pre-fight trash talk ever did.
Fair play. Big fair play to Jake Paul. Like, Jake Paul done what anyone would do if they stepped in the ring with an experienced fighter that they know they can't compete with. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if me and you was to spar, if you want to not get KO'd immediately, you don't stand in the middle and engage with me. Why would you do that?
I'll take my chances, to be fair.
Fair enough.
No, yeah.
Hugging.
Make it ugly as you can.
What else are you supposed to do? You're clearly not going to defeat me if you decide to box me. So you have to use something else. That's what Jake done. He done it for as long as he could. He realized AJ's strong. I'm not going to battle with him in the clinch. I'm just going to drop to the ground. As I've said, my guy, that referee, he refereed Jake and Anisam Kip. He knows that ref. He thought that ref would allow him. In his mind, you see when you're the A side and you ain't seen the dirty side of boxing, you think that everything and everyone around it's in your favor. He thought that referee was going to let him keep falling, pick him up, dust off his gloves, and continue the fight. When the referee said to him, bro, stop doing that, he was thinking, oh my God, even the ref that knows me, yeah, is on me. AJ's on me. My corner's on me. The ref's on me. I'm getting tired. This guy's strong. Like, that is literally what happened. But who could blame him, though? Like, I rate Jake for doing what he done tonight. Like, he lasted for as long as he could.
We want to hear from you. Do you think Jake Paul will make a comeback after this devastating defeat? Who should he face next? Share your thoughts in the comments. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. Stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.